Welcome, real estate investors. Today we're going to go over the difference in advantages and disadvantages about DSCR and traditional loans. If you're in investing, you've probably come across or will come across these two loans. They're the main financing for anything single family all the way up to fourplexes. So if you're in real estate investing, you're going to need one of these loans. Which one? That's what we're going to go over today. If you're new to this channel, welcome. I'm Mike Bond with Hard Money Mike. We are here to give you the knowledge to be a successful, profitable real estate investor because I want you to make the money you need to live your best life. To do that and help you out, hit the like button, subscribe so you can get other videos just like this one. If you're investing in real estate for rentals, you're going to need some kind of leverage, some kind of loan. The two loans that make up the biggest part of this market are DSCR and traditional loans. So what are they? What makes them different? That's what we're going to go over today. Now, DSCR, debt service coverage ratio, that's what DSCR stands for, is a loan that was made specifically for investors. So the only one who could get it is an investor. And what it's based on is what is the rental income from that property. It's only going to look at three things. Does the property have value? Do you have good credit? And can the property pay for itself? Or can the rents pay for itself? That's what a DSCR loan. It's an investor-only loan. Traditional loans, we all know what they are. This is what's in the papers all the time. It's what most people use for refinancing their owner-occupied properties and rentals. It's the loans that are everywhere, Fannie, Freddie, whatever you call them. Those are traditional loans. Now let's look at the advantages and disadvantages of each one. They both have a place, and they probably both have a place in your portfolio for different properties. So depending on where you're at in the investment cycle, where you're at with credit and income, one's going to have an advantage for that particular property. So first, let's start with income because it's important when you're looking at a loan in approval. What are they looking for in income? DSCR, very simple. All they look for is the rents of the property. Do the rents of this property actually cover all the expenses? They're not going to pull your income, your W-2s, any of that stuff. It's all about the rents. Now, traditional, we know what that means. They're going to look at your W-2s, your tax returns, everything over the last couple of years. So when you're looking at advantage or disadvantage between these two, DSCR has the advantage with the income. Next is how much money do you have to put into one of these properties for a down payment? And that's 20% typically on both properties. Now, it will depend on your credit, but a standard DSCR loan and traditional loan will require 20%. So there's no advantage or disadvantage when you're looking at down payment. Third, credit. Where does your credit stand? DSCR, depending on the market, because there's a lot of variances, it could go down to 640. Getting a traditional loan with a FICO or credit score under 680 is almost impossible. So when you're looking at these two, they both like credit, but there's a slight advantage for DSCR. Now we're investors, we're business people. What does it look like if you want to close a property in a business? Traditional loans do not allow that. You must close it in your personal name. You can always quitclaim it later into a business name, but you must close it in your personal name. DSCR loans, you can close in an LLC, and they actually prefer it. So you could buy a property or even refinance it within the LLC. So you're looking for an advantage, disadvantage. DSCR has the advantage when it comes to closing properties in a company name. Since we're talking about business, let's just stick with that. Time in business. How long have you been doing this? When you're looking at these two loans, DSCR does not care. They don't care if you've been in business one day. They just don't care, or if you even have a business. Now, traditional, to use the income from a business or from that property, you're going to have to at least show 2 years. So once again, advantage DSCR. So it's sounding like DSCR has all the advantages, but when we get to probably one of the most important things, rates, we're going to see where the advantages switch. So when we're talking about rates between traditional and DSCR, traditional will always be between 1% and 3% better on the rate than a DSCR loan. It's important, if you're looking at cash flow, some of the other hurdles that are out there, sometimes it just comes down to cash flow and rate. So when you're looking at advantage for rate, it is in traditional. So we talked about ease, we talked about underwriting. We combine those two. When we look at the DSCR and the traditional, DSCR keeps it simple. They're looking at credit, loan to value, and what the rents are. When you're looking at a traditional loan, it's going to require everything. So when we're looking at an advantage for underwriting and ease, it's going to go to DSCR. Now we're real estate investors. A lot of us are looking for cash out on our real estate. What does that look like? If you're looking at DSCR, you could get anywhere between 75 and 80% of the appraised value. It just depends on your credit, and it also depends on what they call a DSCR ratio. Traditional loans, they max out at 70%. So the difference between the two, there's an advantage DSCR. If you have a property that is outside 1 to 4 units, you have something between 5 and 8 and maybe even a mixed use, the only one of these two loans that will even look at it and give you a loan is DSCR. Traditional loans could only go between 1 and 4 units. So here, again, the advantage is DSCR. Now, prepayments, you're going to hear those if you are in DSCR. You'll never hear them on traditional loans. What a prepayment is, it's a cost. It's a cost if you leave the loan within a certain amount of time. Traditionally on DSCR, there's prepayments that are standard between 3 and 5 years. That means if you leave, pay that off, sell the home, in those 3 to 5 years, you're going to pay them a penalty. Traditional loans, you could have them 3 days, 4 days, a month, and pay it off. There is no penalty. If you're looking at a property that you may not keep 3 or 5 years, the advantage is traditional loans. So guidelines and underwriting. The nice thing about traditional loans is they're all electronically underwritten, and they're all guidelines between Fannie and Freddie. They're all standard. It doesn't matter if you go to a bank, a mortgage company, or whatever. They're standard. DSCR is very segmented. There's literally hundreds of different companies who offer DSCR, and they all have their own underwriting, their own guidelines, what they're going to require and what kind of rates they're going to charge. So when you're looking at just standardization, advantage traditional loans. You're going to need one of these loans. You might need both of these loans, so it's good to understand what's the pluses, what's the minuses. Another thing you're going to need if you're getting into DSCR or either loan, you're going to need someone to work with that has options for you, because not everyone has the same underwriting guidelines. You want to have someone who actually checks out the market, looks at the market, and says, what are the best rates? What's the highest loan to value? What is the lowest credit score? Whatever that may be, what's the most cash out? That's why you work with someone like us at Hard Money Mike, because we shop the nation. We look for different kinds of loans to make sure we put you in the right loan. We have a free gift for you. Before we get to that, if you enjoyed this video, check out these other videos on DSCR loans. We have a free download for you, because if you're looking at a DSCR loan, you're going to have to figure out exactly what the DSCR ratio is to make sure it qualifies and that it's cash flowing for you. So check below. If you're looking to make more money in real estate investing, we'll see you on the next video.